One of the most popular and most anticipated characters from the original game has made it on over to Lumia Island in her 3D form. We have Sua over here in Eternal Return Black Survival. Despite her docile demeanor, she is a monster with a gigantic magical hammer who is more than happy to run you down and beat you into the ground. Sua can be played in a wide variety of ways, and so far she's been actually extremely fun to play overall, and I can't wait to get more reps in with her. But for now, let's check out the save plans that have stood out to me the most so far. The build that I've liked the absolute most so far is this Rockers Uchiwa version of Sua. Now this build probably looks really familiar to a lot of longer term players. This is very similar to the old school Rockers Uchiwa build that we used to see on almost every character back at the beginning of early access and maybe closer to open beta. This build utilizes the fact that all of these items are just extremely good. Their stats are just well statted compared to everything else in the game, and they synergize really well to make you very tanky, but also have nice utility, but also have nice damage. Overall, Rocker's Jacket is providing you attack power and utility in the form of healing reduction and out of combat movement speed, plus a lot of good defensive stats. Crown giving you a little bit of amp and a lot of max HP. Burnished Aegis similarly a lot of max HP plus some other good stats as well. Glacial Shoes. Now this is where things get good. Glacial Shoes are actually fantastic on Sua. She uses the out of combat movement speed really well to allow you to chase people who get away. Her chase is normally not the most amazing in the game, but you do want to be able to position just close enough that you can get them with a stun with your Q. You can also follow that up with a nice knock-up if you happen to mark them with a bookmark. The Glacial Shoes themselves also are giving you a lot of extra skill damage, which does apply to your passive when you get that extra auto attack, and additionally, they give you a lot of mana regen. Mana is a big issue for Sua, and Glacial Shoes almost entirely cover all of your mana issues along with Uchiwa, which is doing a very similar thing, giving you extra skill damage as well as some SP regen. Overall, this build is just very well rounded. It also utilizes Hammer of Thor, which is a very high attack power weapon with 40% attack speed as well. The high attack power, for those who don't know, gives you extra damage on your skills. All skills scale off of attack power, so even if you're thinking, wait, it seems like you have a lot of skill damage on your items, the reality is that the attack power in the build is also helping to make your skills do even more damage as well. As for the routing, you'll be starting over here in Pond, moving to Avenue, and then TPing up to Hotel. Ideally, you want to get here, get your weapon constructed, and as many of the other pieces as you can before the tree becomes available to be harvested, and then you fight for that tree and take it. If you're not comfortable with taking the tree, or if it's too contested, there is a backup plan. The backup plan for this build is to instead go for straight jacket sneakers, which will build off of the same base shoes that you constructed out of Avenue, which are repaired slippers, but you're going to need a paper out of archery and a lighter out of alley. This is your backup. It's still pretty much the same stats, it's just a little bit less of the stuff that you'd get from Glacial Shoes. For the most part, it's still just as good. Now, if you manage to finish over here in Hotel after getting your Glacial Shoes, or just after skipping that if you're going for the straight jackets instead, head on over to Alley, get your materials to finish your crown, and then move on over to Archery Range to finish your Rocker's Jacket. At this point, if you haven't finished your Glacial Shoes, make sure you finish the Ash here by getting paper and Archery Range, and then you should be able to finish your shoes no problem. Now, as for Sua's skilling order, there are actually several ways you could do it. I was experimenting with a lot of E-maxing after passive, but I've also seen a lot of success with Q-maxing after passive, so I think either is fine. For this build, I would recommend going passive over Q, over E, over W, and obviously taking a point in your ultimate whenever available. Now I want to talk about another way of playing Sua. It's a full amp, full CDR version of her build that actually ends up playing in a completely different way, so let's go check that out right now. So this is full amp Sua. Full amp Sua is more focused around getting very, very high CDR and eventually transitioning into a Queen of Hearts to overcap your CDR to around 50%. The new Queen of Hearts enabled some pretty insane strategies on a lot of characters, and Sua is absolutely no exception. You're going to be going with a lot of high amp pieces. You're going to be trying to make Commander's Armor. If you manage to finish a Cabana temporarily until you get your Queen of Hearts, that's fine too for its high amp scaling. You've also got the Imperial Burgeonet giving you 8% CDR. Bracelet of Scotty gives you a lot of max HP as well as a lot of extra skill damage. Tachyon Brace, even more CDR, once again getting you closer to that 50% mark. And the White Crane Fan giving you more amp as well as being your healing reduction piece. Overall, this build is a little bit squishier than the other version of Sua we talked about, but since you are building just so much skill amplification on all of your pieces, and since you will be capping or overcapping your CDR to about 50%, you're going to be able to throw out your Q so many times. It'll be tagging enemies, stunning enemies, and it'll be catching people off guard in general. Hitting such a high CDR count in addition to your passive that reduces all of the cooldowns of your basic skills when you're hitting people, it's going to end up that you're going to be throwing out books so fast that people will not even know how to deal with it. As for the routing, you're going to be starting over here in Factory, moving up to Pond, using the new teleporter. You can't see it on this map because it actually didn't get updated, but you're going to be using the teleporter down at the bottom side of Factory, TPing over to Pond, getting as many materials as you can. Pond is fairly contested at the moment, so trying to get what you can as soon as possible. After that, head over to Avenue, get even more of your pieces, then TP. Again, the Avenue TP has been moved from here to around the police station. This map is not quite accurate at the moment. You're going to be TPing over to Cemetery, getting more of your pieces. And then at this point, you're actually going to be finishing your Commander's Armor, your Imperial Burgonet, as well as your White Crane Fan. Now, once all that's done, you move over to Chapel, get your piano wire on the way to Forest. Now, here's where things get interesting. You do want to contest that second tree, which will be right here at the south side of Forest. You do have a pretty good build, and even your temporary piece for the Bracelet of Scotty does give you good stats still, so you can take pretty much any fight over here in Forest, so you can get that tree. If you feel like you're going to lose that fight, just concede it and maybe try for the Cemetery tree, but either way, you are actually strong enough to take a lot of the fights here. Now again, the build is going to get a little more interesting from here. What you're going to be doing is trying to make a handbok. Now that your build has been finished by getting the tree, you start making the handbok, which is the preparation item for Queen of Hearts. You want to get this done before Wick spawns, because once you fight, well, hopefully fight and kill Wickaline, you'll get the VF blood sample off of her body, which you can use to make the Queen of Hearts. This is where you truly unlock your potential as a character with this build. You see that right there. The cooldown reduction cap gets increased by 10%, letting you go up to 50% if you get enough CDR. It's also giving you 25% CDR, which is so much CDR for one piece of gear. If you find yourself with even more free time before Wickaline spawns, which I know is hard because you are finishing 6 full items, including a tree item, and you're making the handbok, if you find yourself with even more time after that, try to find a meteorite so you can finish your cabana, because that's going to help you a lot for those Wick fights. Makes you a lot stronger against anyone who tries to contest you, and just lets you kill Wick a little bit faster. If you're having trouble remembering what your Wick items are, like how to make a handbok on the fly, you can open up the build menu by pressing B in game and then navigating over to the chess piece section, selecting handbok and pressing target. Alternatively, you can also just set up an additional save plan that you can change to mid-game by pressing P or pressing the arrow in the top right by your save plan to open up a drop-down menu of your other saved plans, and just selecting this will then retarget all the items. Of course, only do this after you've finished your full build. The skilling order for this build is actually different from the other build that we just talked about. The difference here is that you're going to be maxing your Q and then your E and then your W before you even touch your passive. Your passive does not matter hardly at all for this version of Sua. You just want to make sure that your Q is very strong and your E is strong as well. These are your two main damage points, and keep in mind to put a point in your ultimate whenever possible. Now, with all of that being said, I know it was a lot of information to go over, especially with these two builds being so different from each other, but the example game we have for you today is based on the first build that we talked about, so let's check out that example game. QE and then wait for 6-second Q to come back up and then Alt E. So you're saying QERE, right? Just so I'm clear what you mean. I was gonna say, yeah, if you QE, then your ult is gonna be on your E. So it would just end up being QEE instead of QE. No, because it copies your last skill, so it'll be on your E. Unless I'm missing something that you're saying, and I'm not smart. Which is possible. That was just any cells refresh? No, it specifically, the icon right there turns into... Oh, the leather's gone. Shit. It turns into whatever this last skill you used is. So you can only cycle between... You can only copy the last skill cast. You can't, like, alternate things. Oh, I still don't have leather. Shit! And all my chickens are dead! Why are all my chickens dead? Who's killing all my chickens? I need answers. Well, that tree's gone. Unless it's not. What the? Oh, there's a fight. Let you guys go at it, don't mind me. I will just be collecting this here tree of life. You know what? Don't mind me, I'm just doing my own thing. EQRE is what he's trying to say. EQ. I feel like just raw E-ing in without having a mark already down is not ideal. If I'm wrong, feel free to tell me, but like, I feel like if you just raw E in generally, you're kind of just like not taking advantage of the knockup at all. Oh. That felt good, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I went double W that fight. So she just like couldn't do damage. Kinda good. Like she couldn't activate her R. She tags me with R and I literally cannot trigger it because she's flying the entire time. So can have a lot of different weapons because she makes magic weapons? Yes, that is a great point. So like a lot of characters in this game get sort of stuck in what they can eventually have later on. Sua does not feel that way at all. At all. Which is great. She could literally have every weapon in the game, honestly. What has been skill max priority? I've been doing EQW, yeah. Well, passive EQW. If you hit stun Q into E, it murders people. Yeah, especially if they're that squishy. Kinda does. Magic gun. She would rock it. Straight up. She'd look great doing it too. Sua with a gun. It wouldn't be fair simply because of her passive. So she'll probably have to stay ranged forever, but it is a fun idea. God, I love her bonk animation. It's so good. Like she literally does like the jump up in the air, like both legs forward bonk animation. It's so good. Ooh. Did they buff this? Yes, they did. I don't remember when they buffed it, but they did. Hey, what's up, Adopted? Pathfinder stream. Thanks for posting all the RCS trainings on YouTube. Hell yeah, no problem. Does her kit feel clunky? Not really. The only thing that feels even a little bit clunky is her E, and it feels a little bit floaty, but it's not really clunky. I think I just dropped the attack offs here. I don't necessarily need it. Well, yeah, welcome, Adopted Spoon. How you doing? Ooh. Where was our Mithril or meteorite spawns? Meteorite was in Pond, actually. And it's still there. Oh shit. Okay, well we're gonna go to a pretty early Elysian Halo, so that's pretty good. Calling someone adopted is very odd. Yeah. I guess shortening it to just adopted would be a little bit weird. Oh my god. Wait, we're getting a little squishy. I don't even know if I want to go that way right now. That's a little too squishy. Go away. Sua with whip? Whip Sua would be cool. In fact, I could really see whip Sua. That seems completely reasonable. Okay. Game plan, get our Elysian Halo. Get ourselves up to... what exactly? Get ourselves up to Wick, Elysian Halo finished, and then get to Wick in time. There it is. I'm trying to make a Rockers Uchiwa mallet build, but it hurts. Wait, mallet? Who for? Squishy. Get, oh my god. Coon brains are taking over. Feels better than Crown even if you lose the HP. Yeah, I think it is, because you gain a lot of defense, you gain a lot of other good stats too. And she scales really well off of those stats. Oh my god, I'm getting comboed so hard right now. Woo! Threading the needle. She's out of mana. She's taking hella good food. Nah, I think Sua not good. Oh, this guy is weak. Now he's dead. Dude, the blind is actually huge in that matchup. It is fucking massive. Sua fights are such a visual mess. Like seriously, like Sua v Sua. I wasn't kidding earlier when I said like when I'm fighting a Sua, I have no fucking idea who's throwing out what. It's miserable. There needs to be some color difference. Okay, we're looking good. We're looking good. No, test subject names are not bots. Test subject names are hidden player names. Oh, cornered. Red shoes. Huh. I don't think I go red shoes here, like at all. But I'm certainly entertaining the idea. This fight feels very winnable, but I might get bursted. There we go. GG. Dude, Hedgen has 0 chance against this character.